Hello, my name is Ashlyn Love, and my topic is going to be about video games and how playing them affects our brains. I want to talk about this topic because, for one, it's important to me because I would say that I regularly play video games when I have the extra free time. I've often wondered if playing them hurts me in any way, like my brain. I want to specifically talk about, does playing them affect our ability to learn, because a lot of the people that play video games are students, whether they be young students or college age like myself. What I'm specifically asking in my research is, does playing action video games affect our ability to learn? Before I continue, I want to clarify that some people consider shooters to be a separate genre, but for the sake of my research, I'm just going to lump them together because shooters are basically action games focused on shooting. I chose action games because according to Statista.com in 2016, action games were the second most sold video games at 22.5%. Second only to shooters. Therefore, I feel like this would be a good gauge of what the majority of people are playing, and this includes myself because I like action RPG games such as Fallout and Destiny. My question is at the stasis level of fact because I'm asking a sort of like what happens question. What happens to our brain when we're playing these video games? This research is going to be important to college students who like to play video games. As I said before, I'm in this category and it matters to me, so I would assume others would care about it too. College is a really important time where students are, making big decisions and they're basically studying for the rest of their lives of what their career is going to be and having to take in a lot of important information. So, if playing video games is affecting that in a negative way, I think college students will want to know so they can stop playing video games that are detrimental to their mental abilities. Another group that would matter would be parents of young children who are playing video games, like middle school, elementary kids. All parents are concerned with their children's growth and development, and a lot of parents already tend to assume that video games are impacting that in a negative way, especially like their performance in school and their attention span abilities. So if the research shows that there's no overwhelmingly negative effects or anything like that, then parents can have a sort of peace of mind and allow their children to play these games. And who knows, maybe it'll even be found out that there are valuable skills to actually gain, so that's an extra peace of mind. So my last stakeholder group, and admittedly this is going to be a bit of a stretch, but perhaps the companies that make these games would care. Like I said, these games already have a lot of negative stigma around them about what they do to children and our brains in general. So if there was overly compelling research that favored negatively affecting, then that could cause a drop in sales. But on the other hand, if there was research that either proved positive effects or just said there were no negative effects, at least that could persuade companies to start using that as a marketing technique to boost sales. Of course, I'm going to have to find research about different age groups to see if maybe younger kids are affected more so than the older kids, like the college age students. I'm also going to have to look for studies conducted about the effects of video games just on brain abilities in general, like cognition, memory, attention, learning concepts and skills, stuff like that. And of course, I'm going to try to hone in my studies specifically on action games, see if there's studies done just for those. Another thing I could try to research is the rise and fall of video game sales in relation to positive and negative studies about video games to see if there's a correlation. I know that may be a bit of a stretch due just to connect my last stakeholder group. And then lastly, I think I could try to find research about our children who already have attention disorders like ADHD or ADD, stuff like that, and see if they're affected more so than other children.